Hey guys, here's a little video of how I program my drums. I don't use many loops. Sometimes I might use a shaker loop because I suck at making shakers, but yeah, I just like to pick individual samples from Splice usually that fit the vibe of the track. So let's jump in. So usually I'll start with maybe an open hat, just play our loop. Okay, and then literally I'll just go through. You can see all the ones that I've already downloaded, so usually I end up using those, but sometimes there's some new ones on here. I usually go to most popular because they're usually the best samples, the cleanest, and you don't have to process them much. I try just to pick sounds that don't need processing. Oops, turn this off, transpose was on. That one. So open up my, so as you can see I've already got a template set up. So I've got an open hat, closed hat, shakers, rides and a snare. Usually I add in a clap as well. So what I basically do is just drag that into my drum rack and usually get a couple. Cool, we might be able to use that. It's nice and clean. Yeah, so I'm just spending a bit of time just selecting sounds that sound good. To get your tracks to the next level, you just really need to spend time on selecting clean, good sounds. So then I just basically loop that. It's on a loop, so we just set the start. And then I just rehearse them. I like that one and the first one. I think this one's better, a bit shorter, a bit more snappier. You can even make it shorter. So I just have satin usually, and I change the saturation to either subtle or gentle. And I don't touch the parameters. I just leave it how it is. So you can see it adds a bit of warmth to it. And then we just filter out the lows. You can see this region down here. We don't want any of that interrupting our low ends. So filter that. And then if we've got any peaks up here, I usually pull them down a bit, but it doesn't look too bad. Maybe this one. Just balances it out a bit. Okay, next our closed hat. Oh, with that reverse, the reverse one we had an idea. Maybe every 4 bars we can have it reverse. Is that the one? Something like that. a bit. That's different. Never done that before, but let's see how it sounds in the track. Okay, let's go back to splice. Now we're going to write in closed hat. Put this on 1/16 and we can literally just rehearse it in splice. That's cool. Nice and wide. So we're also thinking about the placement. So for example, that hat there was very wide, so our open hat is centered, quite thick. This hat is quite wide and it's bright, so they're not clashing, so that fits in well. That one's very centered. That one's cool. Brings a lot of life into the track. So I usually go for about 3 or 4. That one's cool, high energy. That one's got a bit of movement in it. Not enough energy though. That one's nice. Okay, let's rehearse them. And just trying to make them fit in with the track. So loop that section. Command L, press play. And then what I usually do is just to give it a little bit of groove, just pull the first 2 down a little bit, the end one down maybe 2 dBs. And that just gives it a bit of a groove, and then we literally just rehearse them. I like that one. That one's nice. I think this one fits well. Same thing. Saturation, gentle. Makes it a bit warmer. Filter this out. Maybe get that. Call this clap. Let's put a clap in there. Clap. Play up. Clap. Back down here. Cool, nice and wide. Very wide. That one's cool. I've used that before. And yeah, if you start using these samples, the ones that you've used before, you'll start to create your own sound, and so you develop your own style over time. Okay, let's program that. Loop that section. Play. kicker sound for this track. Yeah, I'm gonna go with that. Okay, rides. Always struggle to find a good ride. Pretty picky with them. That one sounds nice. So that is, I think we're in G. In G? Yeah, we're in G. So that ride was actually in G. So that's why it sounds good in this track. So if you can, use samples that are in key. A lot of the times your hats, you won't find hats in key, but the rides, usually you do. So you just need to pull that out of its loop. And then I usually just play around with the samples, shorten it, just hear it out, take a little bit of the tail out. What we're doing, we're just creating space in our mix. So if I left that there, you've got all that, I guess there's a little bit of reverb on that sample. I mean, I don't really want the reverb there because I can add it in myself later to my preferred taste. So I'll leave a little bit in there. Not so dry. What else does this need? I can try some shakers. I usually go for a tambourine, just a bit more brighter. Tambourine. So once again, we're trying to get sounds or samples that are in different parts of the frequency spectrum. We don't want to get all the same kind of sounding samples and then they just clash. So let's try that one. Tambourine. See what happened there. We can just adjust the sound however you want it. A little bit more thicker, start it there. That's cool. Turn that down a bit. Just try and center it. Same again, saturation. See all this low end in that tambourine? We don't want that, so we just pull that out. And this one up here peaking quite a bit, so add some dynamic EQ. Oops. So we've just brought that peak from all the way up there, we've brought it down level with this one. Just to try and get some balance in our hats. If we have too many peaks, it will peak on the master. So this is kind of, you're pulling all your peaks down and in the end you'll get a louder, cleaner master. So as I'm producing the track, I'm doing all these mixing techniques just to keep everything nicely balanced. And then if you want to add some, I've got a drum reverb set up on my send and return channels. Drum reverb, so I've got a Pro R on there, and it's just like a preset drum studio, nice and short. And we've filtered down a lot of the highs and the lows, and that just creates a bit more of a vibe for these drums. I usually get it so I can hear it, and then I pull it back so you can hardly even hear it. So okay, on the master, get a span. Span plug in. And now I'm just seeing the hats compared to the low end. So usually your hats are roughly in line with the low end. In this case, they're very loud, so I'm going to turn some of them down. Tambourine, or we can just turn them off and see which hats are too loud. So open hat's pretty good. This one, come down a bit. I'm just looking at the spectrum here. I want to be in line with the low end. And then later on, when this gets mastered, it'll come up, we'll be up at around 30 dB mark. Bring some of these back in. It's too loud. Just pull that down. So this is just literally mixing as we go. We're in the loop, so when we get to the arrangement, we can just pull everything out. Record everything in. And so with the ride usually sits over the top of the low end. If you look at every reference track, I usually do use reference tracks, but because I've done it so many times, I just know where the hats should sit. So on all the reference tracks, usually the ride peaks a little bit above the low end. And then the clap's pretty good. Clap needs a bit of reverb. think we need some percussion in here as well. Nice low kind of Drumcode kind of percussion hits. Every now and then, if you hear something like that stands out, just grab it. And you can literally I'm going to play every bar, but maybe every 2 bars you've got something there, you know. Be like a little bit of variation into your drum loop. Maybe add some delay on that. I've got a 1/8 delay set up. Obviously we're trying to get it to sound decent. I'm not just going to throw it in there just for the hell of it, but if we can make it sound good for the track, we'll put it in. Kind of like it there. Even down pitch it. There we go. That's what I want. Try that one. filter this down, take the lows out to about 100 Hertz, just to free up that low end for our kick and bass. Some of the highs. That's cool. This one's a little bit too soft. That's it, guys. Hope you picked up some techniques from this video. Follow for more. Cheers.